Hey everybody, welcome back to Vibing with Don Vito show. I'm your host Don Vito. Earlier today we had some technical difficulties. Our guest Lenny Green from 107.5 Wbls, Mr. Quiet Storm himself, he was having some trouble getting on the live. So we just finished talking. I think he fixed the problem. So he should be coming on in a few minutes. I want to thank y'all for tuning into the show and being patient. You know, stuff like that happens every now and then. It's beyond our control, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, the show must go on. You know, we appreciate you just for being patient and stuff like that. And Lenny Green will be here. He will be on the show. And it should be a great interview. You know, everybody know Mr. Lenny Green. If you don't, something wrong with you. You know, he comes on 5 days a week, 107.5 WBLS, Mr. Quiet Storm. You know, he got that smooth voice. All the ladies love him, you know. And I look up to him. He's an idol of mine, like I told him, as far as with his being a leader on the radio and as a host and a veteran in the game. And he's the guy I would like to one day, you know, mimic myself to be as a host as far as on anything. But Mr. Lenny Green is pulling up right now. I want y'all to stay tuned in and check out the interview. Lenny Green, 107.5 WBLS. What's up, Lenny? Talk to me, brother. What's up, my brother?
Man,
yeah.
The gremlins come out when they come out, brother.
Yeah, man.
I am so sorry to you and to everyone. I apologize for the technical difficulties, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy, brother. But thank you for the warm words, brother. I'm touched by your words, and I really don't know what to say. I can't even envision myself to be someone pays attention to. But thank you.
Let me tell you something. The world pay attention to you, brother. you know, I know you're a modest type of a guy, but you Mr. Quiet Storm, man. Nobody else does it like you. I've been all over, man. Nobody got that style like you, man. It's original.
Well, you know, Don Vito, I gotta be honest with you. You know, I think I learned from those who walked before me, and right. I think you know, and you've heard of the name Von Harper.
Yes. And
Von Harper, he was our cat. Now, I'm going to give you the real story, as you probably know, mm-hmm. and some folks watching may know.
Right.
Von Harper was our Quiet Storm guy in New York.
Yes.
In the Northeast. But the Quiet Storm originally started in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
With a brother by the name of Melvin Lindsay.
Mm-hmm.
The woman who owns TV One and Radio One.
Yes.
Her name is Kathy Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
She decided to birth a program, and she called it the Quiet Storm. And she's the one who initially put on Smokey Robinson's Quiet Storm song and got this brother. And she took her music out of her closet, and Melvin Lindsay took the music out of his closet, and they created a thing called the Quiet Storm.
Wow.
So that started, like you and I were young, real young,
yeah.
when that started.
Uh-huh.
But brother Melvin Lindsay unfortunately passed away years ago. And after that started, other stations around the country, like New York, started picking up the name from time to time, or they would flip the name.
Uh-huh.
They would say Quiet Storm, or maybe it would be After Dark, a variety of different names.
Right. So how did it transition to New York?
Well, I think at the time, Percy Sutton, who owned WBLS, along with Hal Jackson, I think they were looking to create something, and they eventually brought in Frankie Crocker,
mm-hmm.
and Frankie Crocker decided to adapt the name, The Quiet Storm, and Von Harper was the man, and that's what happened. And then Kiss FM came along, and they had, as a competition to WBLS, Kiss FM had Yvonne Mobley, and she created a Quiet Storm show, but she called it New York After Dark.
Oh, okay.
And then that got changed from Yvonne Mobley to Kissing After Dark.
Right.
And then Shayla did that. When Shayla went to mornings to work with Isaac Hayes and Jeff Fox, I came along and I took over Shayla's show on Kiss FM called Kissing After Dark.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, but the After Dark thing was like basically about the slow jam, stuff like that, correct?
Correct.
So
Yes, sir.
who came up with that concept, like saying it's nighttime, so all we're gonna do is play smooth grooves. We're not gonna get no really up tempo type of songs, whatever.
I mean, I'm going to give full credit to Kathy Hughes.
Right.
And there's if you get a chance, man, this weekend, if you go to essence.com, they did a whole feature on her and the whole Quiet Storm thing. Mm-hmm. And I think you'll find that to be, and they mentioned Frankie Crocker, and I think they mentioned Vaughn Harper. Mm-hmm. But I know they definitely mentioned Frankie Crocker, but it's something definitely that you would definitely be interested in learning. So I'm going to give full credit to Miss Kathy Hughes, who's a phenomenal, amazing icon in the business. She owns 7 radio stations, and she owns TV One. Right. And that's been great success, man. So she had that vision to birth it. So Kathy Hughes, I applaud her for coming up with the idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look her up. That's history lesson right there. It's a good history lesson.
It's definitely history. She is history, you know, because she was the first black woman to start a show on an AM station in DC called WOL, and she did like a talk show. Right. And I think she's starting to do it again. But you know, her and her son, they own the franchise of TV One. Wow. So let me ask you a question. So a lot of people don't know your history. Can you tell everybody where you're from and, you know, how you came up before you got into the radio land? Well, you know, Don Vito, I'm a Brooklyn boy, man. Born and raised in Brooklyn, man. I'm a product of the Big Apple. Right. And I didn't know I was going to be doing this radio thing, brother, at all. Right. I thought I was going to be the second coming of Michael Jackson. But God had a different story. God said, you know, kid, you got a voice. I don't know if I'm going to bring you to singing, right, but I'm going to let you utilize your voice. But I sang from 9 years old up until I got to college. And I went to Kingsborough Community College in Brooklyn. Right. And when I got there, I was singing, man. I didn't think about no radio station, but people were saying, hey, Len, why don't you go check out the radio station? Like, nah. I just focused on singing. I can't sing a lick anymore. I just want you to know that. Right. I can't sing. But once I went to the college radio station, I got hooked. And the rest was just learning and wanting to know more. And I started paying attention to Frankie Crocker and Vaughn Harper and Jerry Bledsoe, all the wonderful golden voices, Gary Bird, Jeff Fox, Bugsy. I started hearing all these names and I started listening and just paying attention, man, just paying attention to what they were doing. I couldn't be them. Right. I only could be me, but I started paying attention, and that's why I took more of an interest. And I said, well, you know what? I think I want to do this radio thing because singing wasn't going as far as I wanted it to go. And I just said, you know, let me just do this. And the radio station gave me an opportunity. The college radio station gave me an opportunity. Right. And they gave me a show on a Sunday from 7 p.m. to 1 o'clock in the morning. So they said, well, what kind of show you want to do? Because this is college radio, right? Right. What kind of show you want to do? So my older brother, he would always play jazz around the house. So I said, I want to do a jazz show. Okay. And they said, okay, do whatever you want. It's college radio. College radio, you could do anything you want. Right. And I would do that show with one other brother who I went to school with by the name of Barry Small. And him and I used to do this jazz show, man, from 7 p.m. to midnight. I wasn't driving now. Do you know where Kingsborough Community College is? Yes, I do. It's at the far end. Yeah. I didn't have a car. I lived in East New York. Right. This was like in Sheepshead Bay. At 1 o'clock in the morning, there was only one bus left that was going back to the train station. Yeah. We would haul ass, man. I had a stack of records in the bag. I'm running, trying to catch this bus, man. Because if I miss the bus, I'm done. Right. I got to walk 25 blocks to get to the train station. Wow. I did that, man, for like a year and a half. Wow. Did you ever miss the bus? Hell yeah. That's how you know it's 25 blocks, huh? That's what when you have to walk that bad boy, you learn. I'm not going to miss this. We would put the last record on, and then as soon as that record finished, run. You out, huh? Because the campus, Kingsborough Community College, is a beautiful campus, man. I always wished that it was a 4-year college instead of a 2-year college. So I only have my associate's degree. I do want to go back, though, and get my at least bachelor's. And, you know, the older I get, I'm thinking maybe I want to teach, but I think I need my bachelor's or a master's. So you know, I'll have to buckle down and do that.
What would you want to teach?
This radio,
Okay.
radio breakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, God gave me the opportunity, and the bottom line is that when you get gifts in life, our responsibility is to pass them on. That's our responsibility. Help pass, because as much as we would love to do this a lifetime, eventually you can't.
Yeah,
and I gotta give. I would love to be the second coming of Hal Jackson. Hal Jackson did radio until he was 90 years old on WBLS. 90.
Wow.
That's a blessing. Not too many people get that blessing.
90. That's incredible.
Incredible.
Yeah. So where did you transition to after that college station? What did you do next?
Well, I was bit by the bug, so I wanted to find out, what do I do? And at the time in New York, they had a thing called NBS. NBS was a school for radio people.
Right.
And I paid money and took the course, and they would put you on these little small 3-block radio stations in some faraway place. So I did it just to get the experience and the experience. But let me also say this, to back up a little bit and to be 100% transparent with you. I fell in love with radio so much I started messing up in my schoolwork. Okay. So I didn't graduate on time. I actually stayed. A community college is only 2 years. Yeah. I probably was there for 3.5 years. Just doing radio, man. Yeah. But eventually, what ended up happening is that I started sending out my demo tape after going to that NBS school, and a radio station in Richmond, in Norfolk, Virginia, said, "Hey, you can come down and work for us." And I went down to visit the station, and it was country, man. And I wasn't used to country. I'm from New York, I wasn't used to it. Yeah. So I respectfully declined, and I sent out more of my demo tapes. And what ended up happening, a radio station in Richmond, Virginia. And I ended up taking that job. And I stayed on that job only for maybe 6-8 months. And then what ended up happening eventually was I wanted to get back to New York. So I found a job working behind the scenes in radio syndication. Okay. And I was just scheduling the time for people to use the studio and just meeting people. At the same time, I was able to get a part-time job up in Connecticut. Okay. On Saturday and Sunday. So I was working Monday through Friday behind the scenes and learning radio syndication as an office worker. And then on Saturday, Sunday, I would go to New Haven, Connecticut and work shifts up there. And after doing that for a year, the New Haven, Connecticut radio station offered me a job to be the morning man. Right. I'll never do that again. Why? Because waking up when you hear these morning shows, you listen to Steve Harvey, you listen to Ricky Smiley, wherever anyone's chiming in from. You understand that's a different life. Yeah, it is. You have to stay informed. You have to be on top of the news. You got to put together your show. You got to be in the bed early, and you got to get up early. And you can't get there at 6 o'clock. If 6 o'clock is your shift, you need to be there like an hour and a half before. Wow, that's tough. It's not easy. It's great hours. Right. But at 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock, your energy level starts to come down. Yeah. You need a nap. You need a nap. Right. So you take your nap, and then you have to get up around 8 o'clock to look at the news, find out what's going on. Because in the small markets, you don't have producers. Right. You're the producer. You're the talent. You got to produce this. You got to bring the show. Right. It's a lot. And I was, it gave me great training, man. Great training, great awareness. So, I was paying my dues, brother. I was paying my dues. Look, let me put it like this. When you get into radio in the beginning, the money is not good. So comfort for me was simply getting a Subway sandwich or some pizza. That was dinner. Wow. I'm so serious. I'm going to tell you, I don't tell this story to too many people, but money was rough, and I got behind on my rent. And I remember I was like 2 months behind on my rent. I called up a couple of my boys and said, yo, man, you got to move me out of here, like tonight. Tonight, 2 o'clock in the morning, when everybody's asleep. And we got a U-Haul truck.
You dodged that rent, huh? You got to do what you got to do.
I can't confirm nor deny.
Okay. Damn. Oh,
it's rough, man. It's rough. So I remember the hard days.
Right. So after Connecticut, did you go to New York, or how did that happen?
Well, I stayed up in Connecticut for like 9 years, and the radio station shut down.
Right.
Once the radio station shut down, I got on unemployment for a little while.
Right.
And I just started working behind the scenes and whatever I could do. Right. You know, whatever I could do. A friend of mine who I worked with in New York 10 years ago, I didn't know he was close to Vinnie Brown. Does that name sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I heard of him. Yeah.
So Vinnie Brown was a renowned program director at 98.7 KISS. And he would always compete. KISS FM and BLS were always, competition.
Right.
So I came down and I bumped into my buddy. I said, yo, man, I'm on unemployment, man. He said, well, you know what? The next time you come down, I'll call up my boy, Vinnie Brown. You know Vinnie Brown? Yeah, man, we grew up together. Out of all the years I've known you, man, right. you never told me you knew Vinnie Brown. I knew this man for 10 years.
Never said it.
He never once said, oh, Vinnie Brown's my friend. Not once. It took me going through 9 years, going through unemployment, and found out he was good friends with Vinnie Brown. So he was a man of his word.
Right.
And I came down, he called Vinnie Brown up. The next day, Vinnie Brown said, come in and meet with me.
Wow.
I said, okay, sir. I got there. Vinnie Brown said to me, I don't have a job to offer you. All of my slots are filled, but do you want the job? Oh, you said you don't have a job to offer me.
Right.
Do I want the job? I said, yeah, I'll take that.
What is that?
You don't have a job to offer me. Do I want the job? Like, yeah, I'll take that. Sure. He said, okay, cool. And I left. 2 weeks later, he called me up. He said, hey, man, I don't have an on-air position open, but I need somebody to come in here and answer the phones and open up the mail. And I can only pay you $10 an hour. Do you want it? Yes, sir. Right. I'll take it. I went from not having a job to now getting in the building. Right. My mindset is, okay, I'm in the building. Right. If somebody can't make it to work, I could do that. I need somebody to read a commercial. Can you do that? I can read the commercial. There you go. I can do everything. Right. You need me to do, sir. I can do it. Right. And that's how it worked, man. And somebody didn't come into work one day. No. And he said, I need you to go in and do middays. I'm like, middays? Middays is like from 10 in the morning to 2. I'm like, oh, shit. Middays. Everybody's listening at middays. I'm like, I was shitting bricks. Despite of the training that I had. We're talking about New York, man. Yeah, right. New York City is not Connecticut. Exactly. New York City is not Kansas City. It's not California, not Detroit. It's New York. Pressure zone. And this is where we're from. Woo, pressure. Pressure on the back of the head. Yeah. Because everybody's like this. Yeah, exactly. Listen. Yeah. And by God's grace, man, I passed the test. Wow. And he said, okay, appreciate you doing that. Continue to answer those phones and open up the mail. Oh, he only gave you that one little test right quick. The person got sick. He needed somebody on the air. Right. And so that the lesson out of that was always be ready. Because you just never know. Never know. Never know. Good lesson. So great lesson. So how long did you have to do the mail and all that other stuff? It lasted probably a good 8 months. And then he said, I could give you a part-time job on the weekends, one shift. Well, see, in New York, you have a thing called the union. AFTRA, American Federation of Radio and Television Artists. So you're making a scale. So that means if you get a job in New York City, they can't pay you for your shift below the scale. Like they can't say, Don Vito, it's $100.
Right.
No, they have to pay whatever scale is. So if scale is $250 a shift.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you get per shift.
Right.
So I had to join the union in order to get that opportunity, and that was a blessing. And I just stayed with whenever they gave me a shift. It wasn't permanent, but whenever they gave me that shift, I was always there, ready to do what I needed to do. And that opportunity led to a full-time opportunity, and had me working eventually for Miss Toya Beasley, another God gift program director because once Vinnie Brown left KISS FM, Miss Toya Beasley took over as the program director for KISS FM, and she gave me the opportunity to go full-time at night because Shayla, who's on now in the middays, she went to morning drive with Isaac Hayes and Jeff Fox. So God opened up that opportunity, and then it took me 12 years to get to New York, Don Vito. 12 years to get on New York City radio, and by God's grace, I've been on New York City radio now for like maybe 26 years.
Wow, man. God bless you, man. But you put the work in for that.
God gave me the opportunity, man. I was just happy to fulfill whatever I was supposed to fulfill,
Yeah, and so you kept that faith and you worked hard. And
faith, yeah. Because, I wasn't blessed, man, to have an earth father, but my mom always told me I have a father, and my father was God. So I always kind of felt in my mind I was special.
Yeah, I was raised the same way.
Same way?
Yeah, man. Seriously.
Single parent family.
Single parent, and God is my father, and he's always my father. And I don't do nothing without talking to my father first.
Same here.
Yeah.
I pray about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Everything.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you what, I prayed because we had technical difficulties earlier. I prayed that you come on the show. I didn't give up. Yeah, I did.
And I thank you, man.
Yeah.
I thank you for giving. I could not believe. I'm like, this is incredible. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I'm like, why can't I? And then I shout out to Joy. Joy is a godsend, and she has a master's degree for a reason. For a reason, because she helped my thumb, but I couldn't do it. She said, "Well, she did this, she did that." I had to delete some apps.
Right.
I had to reinstall Instagram. When I reinstalled Instagram, they had me. Everything was gone. Like everything was gone. Like we need a profile pic. We need this. I'm like, no followers, nothing. I'm like, what?
Man.
So thank you for your prayers.
Yeah.
Your prayer. Yeah. Two or more, he is there. So
exactly. But for a guy like you, you need that page. That's your image.
We all,
so I know you. Yeah, but I know you was like, wow. No,
you know what, Don Vito, you and I. I'm no different than you, bro. Yeah. We both need. This is the new way of communicating with people. Shout out to Jojo, Giovanna. Thank you guys for logging on. Yeah. We need people. If we're going to do this radio thing, we're going to do social media thing. Yeah. We need people to support us and be there and really like what we're talking about, and they receive something from what we walk away with. Yes. Darling Nikki. Thank you, darling Nikki. So I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful that I have great people around me, like Joy and my team. I can't do it with them, man, and we can't do it by ourselves. No matter what you try to do, I realize one thing: you can never get to the next step alone. Exactly. Somebody's got to give you a check. Vinnie Brown gave me that step for New York. Yes. If he didn't extend his hand and have me come into a job that he did not have for me, you would not be talking to me today. Wow. So let me ask you a question, Phil. So from 98.7 KISS, how did you transition over to BLS? None of us at 98.7 KISS expected 98.7 KISS to go away. Yeah, what happened with that? This is above my pay scale, but to my understanding, the owners of 98.7 KISS wanted to sell it off. The blessing, another blessing. The blessing was on the last day that 98.7 KISS was going to be on the air, the bosses met with me and a couple other people at 98.7 KISS and said, look, come Monday, this was a Friday, I'll never forget it. Today is Friday, right? It was a Friday around like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. when a boss calls you up or the bosses call you up and tell you to meet them for lunch someplace in the middle of the afternoon on a Friday, it may not always be a good thing sometimes.
Right.
So I meet them and they said, look, man, Monday, there's not going to be no more 98.7 Kiss.
Wow.
I'm like, what? As of Monday, Kiss FM will be dissolved. But so when you go into work tonight, because I was working on Friday nights on Kiss, you're going to be simulcast on Kiss and on BLS. We're going to sync the radio stations together, so you're going to be heard on both stations.
Wow.
Come Monday, BLS wants you, though. I'm like, what? Yeah, BLS wants you to be a part of their program. Now, you have to understand, by then, and it's a deeper story that I won't get into, but by then, I was already how can I say this? I wasn't a paid employee of Kiss FM. I already became a national syndicated guy because of all the technical stuff that had went on before. So I said, well, that's a blessing. If I'm going to be on BLS, BLS took Shayla and myself first. And they said, we'll come back and pick, whoever we want to pick to bring back over. But Shayla and you are going to be the first people that go from Kiss over to BLS. I'm like, I'm thankful, and that's how that happened. It happened just like that. Now, by then, my mentor, Vaughn Harper, he was still living at that time. He was still living. Because I remember in one of his birthday celebrations up in Harlem, the spot on 116th Street, where Reggie Welsh used to throw his parties.
Not at the Miss. The Harlem Miss? The Miss, okay.
Miss. They gave Vaughn Harper a birthday celebration. And I would always go to Vaughn's birthday celebration. And I remember him saying, it was a lot for Vaughn to do this. He passed the mic. He says, the mic belongs to you now. I was like, really? It's like, really? Wow. But coming from him, I grew up listening to him, I'm like, what? So, and we've always been friends for years. Even when he was on the air and I was competing against him, Vaughn and I would always say, Vaughn would always say to me, you know why your ass always beat me, right? Because you come on a couple hours before me. I'm like, sir, I had to because you're a legend. People know you in this town.
Exactly.
I had to come on before you so people could get to know me and I could get a jump on your show.
Right.
Because radio is about competition. It's competition. We have no, Don Vito, if you decide to do this radio game, you're going to be competing with somebody across town. Right. We don't have no control over who listens, when they listen.
Exactly.
You just want to pray that somebody's listening to you. And these days they have a thing called the personal people meter, the PPM.
Right.
And that's like, it looks like a pager. And the people attach that to their belt. It's by Arbitron and Nielsen. Arbitron and Nielsen, they control the ratings for TV and radio all over the country.
Right.
So when they send out these beepers, you don't know who they send these beepers out to. And I might also add, our communities, the black and brown communities, we don't get a lot of those meters.
Right. Wow.
But it happens, right? So you don't know who's listening to you. You just want people to know who you are, and you pray that they like what you do, and they come back and listen to you and support you all the time.
Right.
So, yeah.
So the meters are the viewers or the people that's listeners, right? Pretty much. So that's how they get the ratings and stuff like that, right?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Wow. So what does it do? Is it a daily reading or how is it? Weekly? What is it?
Well, with the advancement of technology these days, the Arbitron has these meters, the PPM meters. Now they can give you information daily, weekly, and monthly.
Right.
The old system, which was diary. So the diaries were, if they send you a diary, you would have to write down what station you listen to, how long you listen, and when do you listen. So now people don't have to write down. So now the way they do it, Arbitron and Nielsen, they'll call up households. Let's say somebody in your family gets a call and they'll ask, they'll say, we represent Arbitron and Nielsen. We'd like to know, would your household like to participate in a radio or TV survey? And we'll give you like a little compensation for your involvement. The little compensation, maybe $10. They'll send you a $10 thing. And they'll ask you how many people live in your house, what are the ages of the people that live in your house, and then they'll send you the device, and they'll say, carry the device on you, and then when you come home at night, you'll put it on a docket. And when they put it on the docket, it will transfer whatever information it has gathered throughout the entire day. And that's how they evaluate how long you listened and who you were listening to.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. So obviously radio is a job. So
yeah.
Does the amount of listeners calculate if you get how you get paid, anything like that?
It can help. It can help. Normally, most radio stations will give you a 2-year contract. Some will give you a year contract. They'll vibe and see how well you are doing with the audience and how well people like you. You know, how personal you are, how popular is your show. Because in the very beginning, it's about evaluation. You have like a lot of cred. Let's say you have a lot of street credibility, or let's say you have a lot of social media credibility. You want to hope that your street cred and your social media credibility comes with you and follows you to your radio thing,
right?
Or your TV thing, or your Instagram thing, or your YouTube thing.
Right.
Right now, we're living in a world of social media. We're living in a different world. So you're doing, you know, Vibing with Don Vito. So if Vibing with Don Vito reaches 500,000 people, or you have or with YouTube, let's say you have 500,000 or 200,000 subscribers.
Right.
That's great.
Right. Yeah.
You want to keep that momentum. You want to keep that kind of following is appealing to people in TV. Is appealing to people in radio.
Right.
So this social media platform has worked for us and can work for us in great ways.
Right.
But you have to build that. And the way you build it is being consistent. So if you, and I notice you're doing things on a weekly basis.
Right.
And that's how you build. And then you as they say, cross-pollinate everything. So are you on Facebook as well?
Absolutely.
So you tell your Facebook people to come to your Instagram. You tell your Instagram to go to your Facebook.
Right. And everybody go to YouTube. Yeah.
So that way people follow you and they get acquainted with the various things that Don Vito does.
Yes. Yes. All right. See, that's why I like you, man, because I always learn something from you all the time.
Hey, brother, I'm here to give.
I know.
I'm here to receive.
I'm a student of the game. Exactly. I'm
a student of the game.
Yeah.
I feel that anytime if you feel that you have all the answers, you need to get out the game. Exactly. And you'll never get all the answers. Now, if you really want to learn and grow, and I always want to learn and grow. So I'm a student of the game with you, brother. I'm just in the next seat right next to you. You don't even pay attention to me. I'm paying attention to the class too.
So let me ask you a question. So let's talk about the confessions of love. How did you come up with that?
Don Vito, I've been through a lot of relationships. I've been in a lot of situations when it comes to relationships. That's better put. I've been in a lot of situations when it comes to relationships. I don't profess to be a know-it-all, but I've been through things. You've been through things. Right. And after a while, you just kind of learn things, you know? But most recently, because of the pandemic that we're in, I've been deviating away from the relationship topics and dealing with life, you know, and dealing with what we need to know as people, you know, because we're not getting a lot of information a lot of times from the news. So, you know, I've established a few relationships along the way, and I just try to bring in doctors, nurses, therapists, because we're living in a different world now, man, and we don't know what normal was. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be normal like that again. No, it won't. At least not right away. At least not right away. So I wanted to bring information that's valuable to people, and who better to give information than professionals? Right. I wanted to find out if a person is going through such suicidal situations, or they can't see their loved ones. You know, there was a moment, and I think that this may be the case in some, you can't go to the hospital and see somebody who might be a loved one or a friend of yours. You know what I'm saying? Things change. The disconnection of us not being connected with people like we have been has a psychological and emotional effect on us, whether we realize it or not. Correct. You know, we are people who are meant to connect with each other, be around each other, socialize with each other. I don't know if we're going to be in clubs. I don't know how clubs are going to be moving forward. I don't. I can tell you this much. We learned some new technology. We learned some new words. At least I did. Droplets. Droplets that come out of our mouths that we.
Right.
I can tell you this, man, and this sounds nasty, but I got to keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
There are many times I've hosted clubs, and the music is loud. Somebody comes up to you and yo, man, I want to hear tell the DJ. I feel
the spray.
The spray.
Yeah.
And it was bothering me then.
Right.
So now I learned about droplets.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you on that. I understand.
What you say? What you need?
Yeah. Tell me from over there.
Write it down. Write it down.
Text me.
Here's a piece of paper. Write down your request.
Right.
But social distancing. I mean, we weren't made of people to be distant from each other. You know what I'm saying? So we've learned some new things that I just want to be a source of information to help my audience and to inform me as well. So I become knowledgeable of what we need to do, what we need to be aware of. Why is this like this? Why is the curve going up? How is this virus connecting to people? Is it airborne? Those are the little questions I want to know. And then, then you find out, well, if a person coughs, how far a cough goes. Mm-hmm. We can't see it to the visible eye. So that's why, look, I don't want to wear a mask either. But if it helps me, if it protects me and it protects you, I want to be protected. We were all laughing at Michael Jackson.
Right.
When that cat put on a face mask, like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah.
He was probably ahead of the curve. And in other countries.
And he had the gloves on too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I changed my confessions of love thing around over the last several weeks, of several months, a couple of months, to help people and to inform and keep them informed. My thing is, I just want to be a resource of information to give people. I want you to hear, in addition to hearing the music and me getting you away from the problems of the day, because this is stressful. When we get this information, it's stressful, man. I mean, it's just stressful. I lost my mom, 5 years ago now, this year. And I say, as much as I miss my mom and I, we're like glue, man. We're like cement, man. I have to honestly admit to you, man, like, I'm glad she doesn't have to go through what we're going through right now.
Right. Because
I'll be totally messed up. I can't see my mom.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Look at D.L. Hughley. He passes out on the stage the other week. He didn't show any symptoms. He didn't have no fever. He didn't get no sore throat. He was what they call asymptomatic. He had the virus in him. His body was dehydrated. He falls out.
Wow.
So he's around a lot of people. So imagine, God forbid, somebody close to you has the virus. They're not feeling sick at all. Somebody else in your circle gets sick.
Right.
Just from them being around them. That would bug me out if, because the older people were getting affected because their immune systems is not strong.
Right.
But now this bad boy is flipping. Now it's going to attract the younger people. So when I see these young cats out here and they're not wearing the face mask because they got misinformation, I'm like, yo, I know it's hard to change habits. It's hard for me to change habits. But if this is going to save my life, and the mindset is act like you have the virus and you don't want to get nobody sick. So at the end of the day, you got to mask up. At the end of the day, when you come home from work, you've been out on the street, you got to get rid of those clothes, wash them up, put them in the cleaners, and take a shower. That's the new norm. You got to wash your hands all the time. You can't put your hands in your face now. You know what I'm saying? So all these little things we got to pay attention to. Make sure we sanitize. Make sure we're not around big groups.
Right.
This is what we have to do until we can get past or get a grip on this pandemic that we're in. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then on top of that now, you got the pandemic of racism exploding. George Floyd, look, let's keep it real. George Floyd wasn't the first situation.
No.
But what happened? This pandemic brought a spotlight stronger than ever. Why? Because the entire world couldn't do anything. Right. We were all watching videos. We were all watching TV, and we saw that, and we saw that, and we saw that, and it ignited us.
Yes.
And it blew things up even more. Because if you go back, let's go back to in the 90s, Rodney King. Thank God for somebody videotaping it, but it had an impact then. But look what happened. I think that little girl, Brother George Floyd's daughter, may not have known what she was saying. She says, "My daddy changed the world." We hope her daddy's death, life wasn't in vain. And it's a horrible thing that she will not have her father. But one thing she said that was very striking to me when she said, "My daddy changed the world." If we hope her daddy does change the world, but truly her daddy's name, George Floyd, is known all over the world.
Yes.
All over the world. And I pray that what we're going through right now will create some wonderful changes. And we as a people, I hope this unifies us. Because as great as we are, and we're great people, we're the best of the best. There's still a division within the infrastructure of us.
Right.
But if we can come together, we could be,
so
we are the game.
What is your opinion, or how do you feel about how the cops is doing things, man? That's what I want to say, man.
Hey, man, racism has been within the infrastructure for a long time. Here's what I don't like. I don't like that our communities are affected in hostile ways. And I think as communities, as a group, as a community, I think we as a community, we as a people, I think we have to collectively go to police stations and set up meetings with these officers, with the bosses, and let them know who we are. Because other communities do that as well. If we want better policing in our communities, we as a community, like when I was growing up, we have block associations. Because it can't be one person going.
Right.
We have to go as a group. We want to have a meeting with the lieutenant. We want to have a meeting with the captain. We want to meet you. And we need to understand what kind of officers you have policing our communities. And we'll let you know. It's because it's about establishing a relationship. So yeah, we'll let you know when we see things go wrong, but we don't want you coming in our neighborhoods doing things to us either, or have preconceived conditions of how we are. Because a lot of people who are serving in some of the law enforcement situations, they don't come from our communities. Right. They haven't even grown up with us, been around us. So they have different perceptions of how we are. And I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be an undercover cop. I knew that when I was younger. And we have some great cops out here, man. A lot of my boys are either they're retired or they may be still on the job. And there's some great cops out here of all nationalities. But you know how they say a couple of bad apples spoils the bunch? Right. And that's what's happening. We have a couple of bad apples that shouldn't even been on the bunch, shouldn't have been on the vine. Right. But they're in there. And I think we're at a different stage right now where we've got to get this straight. Totally. Talk to us. We're people. We're human beings. We're not animals. Black people, Puerto Rican people, any person of color, we're not animals. We want to be dealt with respect, and we want to be treated with respect, because respect gets respect back in return. And yes, you're going to be dealing with people who are not respectful, but this is the job you decide to do. It takes a lot of patience to be a police officer. It's not an easy job. Right. Everybody don't like you. You come in with people don't like you, more people maybe not liking you than people like you. Correct. But can you handle the job? Because if you can't handle the job, it's just like any job. A person may want to do radio, but can you handle the pressures of radio? Can you sacrifice? Are you willing to not make the money that you want to make initially? Right. Are you willing to put in more hours? Are you willing to show prep? Are you willing to go the distance to really make this career happen? So a lot of people want things, but are you really into really making this happen? Do you really want to do what you say you want to do? And if you really want to do it, if it's really passionate about it, then you have to treat people a certain way, because people deserve and should be given respect, because it's our tax money that goes to their salaries.
Correct.
So because you're making money from my money that I'm making, we're working hard for it, I demand and should be treated with respect.
Right.
As you would want to be treated with respect. So don't look at me because I'm black. Look at me because I deserve respect, and you're here to serve my community, because on the banner says protect and serve. So protect me and serve me, because I'm paying for you to do that.
Exactly. You're right. Let me ask you a question. So on 125th Street at the Harlem State Building, you know, they just put up the Black Lives Matters on 7th Avenue on both sides. Real big. They probably completing it today, because yesterday it was white. No, now they got to put the yellow. So how you feel about the Black Lives Matter movement? Tish James, Attorney General, Al Sharpton, everybody was there today.
Wow. I'm sorry I missed that. Hey, man, our Black lives do matter. And we need to understand that. Yeah, and we need everyone to understand that. You know what I mean? Our lives is just as valuable as the next lives. But it seems like somebody forgot. And I don't mean one person, but somebody forgot to realize or think that our lives doesn't matter, don't matter at all. That our lives can be just erased and washed away. It was our people that have built the infrastructure of this country, of every country. And we have been, and we've done it not because we wanted to. Remember now, the first people that came into New York that put up all those wonderful courts downtown were slaves. Right. That weren't paying nothing. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So we contributed to the infrastructure of America. We as black people. And we need the world to understand that we're black, but our lives matter just as much as your life matters. If not more. But somebody forgot to tell you that our lives matter as well. So I'm all for Black Lives Matter, because my life matters, your life matters, our brothers and sisters' lives matter. And we need everyone to understand that and respect that, because guess what? We're respectful people, and we respect your life. Right. So you have to understand you need to respect our lives. Exactly. So how do you feel about the younger generation stepping up? I think it's important for them to do that. You know, change doesn't, they're the future of what goes on after you and I. And if they don't get involved and move away from trivial things, it's going to be detrimental for the progression of this world going on. So I'm glad to see them involved. I think the younger folks have to take pages from the older folks. And the older folks have to pay attention to the drive and the energy of the young folks. And see, it's a fair exchange situation. Again, fair exchange is no robbery, right? So it's important that the younger folks pay attention to the Al Sharptons and those who have protested before. Protest is a good thing. Most people don't understand protesting. Protesting gets changes. Protesting puts the pressures on where it needs to be pressure put on. So protesting is a great thing, and I think that needs to be done more. But I also feel that I'm not for the destruction of our communities. I'm not for that. Right. I'm not for that. And I know we had provocateurs. We had people that wasn't for the movement, but that was intertwining with us and making it seem like we are the ones that are destroying our property. And I'm not saying that wasn't the case, but I believe in effective protesting and keeping the heat on, because you got to keep the heat on. And if you want to change, otherwise it just goes away. I don't know. Have you heard about the NFL now wants to, for the first week of NFL season, they want to have the Negro national anthem song. Come on. Man. So this is a reactionary measure for the moment. But how about that's cute. That's cute. But how about you allow more black people or people of color get involved with the infrastructure of the organization? How about you have black ownership? How about you have more black coaches, head coaches.
Exactly.
How about some of that? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Don't just give us, oh, well, we could just, let's throw that to them. They should be happy with that. Yeah, that's nice.
Right.
The Negro national anthem has been around for a long time. So now you're just coming to us with this now because of the pressure. So why isn't Colin Kaepernick still on the team? Why?
Right.
Oh, so now you understand why he took the knee. So you bought into somebody else saying he disrespected the flag. But even a military soldier says you're paying homage by kneeling on one knee anyway.
Right.
So how is he disrespecting the flag when a military person has said when somebody dies, we get on one knee to show. He was getting on one knee to show injustices, because if you listen to the Star Spangled Banner, you know, look, that's not equal injustice for all, because you have to be blind not to see what was going on. So I understood his purpose in him taking the knee, but it got the story got totally discombobulated and misinformed, and people were gullible enough to believe the bullshit as opposed to being the truth.
Right. That's crazy. And I heard they was offering him to come back to the league all of a sudden. Well,
of course. Of course. I mean, he shouldn't have had gone through what he went through. You know, he put up his career. You know, he had to get blackballed, and the brother is still good. I mean, you know, I could see if he was an old guy like in his 60s, and you know, he's out of the moment, but this guy was still good. And he probably can still bring a team higher than where it is. So he needed to be given a fair chance, but everyone's following the word of, I'm not going to mention the guy's name, of somebody who gave him a different picture and said, oh no, he's disrespecting the flag. No, he's disrespecting injustice, as we all should be disrespecting injustice, because we are the ones being injustice is applied to. You know what I'm saying? Because after the uniform comes off, after I move away from the microphone, when I walk out on the street, no one knows me. I'm a radio guy. I'm an invisible person. You might know my voice. You might know my voice.
Right.
I'm a black man. They're black people. When you take off the uniform, you're a black person. I was once with one of my best friends he's retired now. He was NYPD undercover, narc. And no one could tell he was a narc. We would hang out all the time. No one knew he was a detective.
Right.
No one knew. But guess what? He's stepping out on the street, and his role was to play. His role wasn't to put the image of the fact that I'm a cop, because he's undercover.
Right.
But and we got stopped once on the West Side Highway. And because he's so accustomed to his surroundings, he picked up a tail. I'm in the car with him, like, why is he pumping his brakes? Somebody was tailing him. We get down to 57th Street. We're leaving 125th Street. We get down to the bottom of 57th Street. So he takes out his badge, boom, on the outside. And he gets out the car. Next thing I hear, get in the car, guns are drawn. Get in the car. Now he has a cop car, a Ford car. His windows are dark. It's tinted. Right. Get in the car. Guns are drawn. Nothing but white boys.
Right.
I thought this is before Sean Bell got killed. I could have been Sean Bell.
Right.
They just looked at a black man. They didn't even pay attention to his tin.
Right.
So we have to understand that our lives, to bring it back full circle, our lives matter, man. You know, we're part of this American fabric too. We made America what it is as well. So respect us, because like I said, we respect everyone. We want equal respect. And somebody lost the message along the way and felt that black lives doesn't matter.
So you think that the year 2020 is going to be a change? This is the change year for all of that stuff to come to a head? Or
we pray. We pray. Hey, look, man, 2020 is supposed to be perfect vision.
Right.
2020 has been far from perfect vision. So, I mean, we pray that what has occurred will continue to grow in a positive light for us, and hopefully respect and systemic racism will eradicate itself. But it's going to be a long way, man. It's not going to be a quick fix. This is going to be something that we will have to work on and stay on and be sharp on and address for a very long time.
So how do you feel about the Caucasian population joining in with the Black Lives Movement?
I'm all for that. Look, there have been, back in the day in the civil rights movement when King was alive, there was Caucasians, there was Jewish people, there was Caucasian people involved with our movement because they understood what justice was like, and they understood what injustice was like as well. Mm-hmm. And they understood the importance of us speaking out and speaking up for ourselves and for equality. You know what I'm saying? They understood that, so they became more involved. And I think we have a lot of conscious white folks out here that understand our pain, understand our plight, and realize that there needs to be a change. And that's why they get involved. And I'm honored. Hey, Madison J., I'm honored that they're supporting us and they're behind us and they're with us for the struggle.
Yeah.
Because in order for us, we're not trying to isolate people. We all want to live with one another as well. Marie David, wow. Marie, you remember me? I'm seeing some people from BLS. Man. That's we want people to understand us and to understand that we all want to live together. I believe we can live together. We have the right mindset, and we're all for the same cause. And as soon as we can get to that, and it's going to be a long time before we can really get to that. I think we do have people that are wanting to have a more unified world. Look, racism isn't something that you catch. Racism is something that is taught. You take a black child and a white child, and they're going to play as kids. They're going to pay attention to each other's skin complexion. You've seen the thing on Instagram, the two kids running towards each other. Kids are kids. They want to play. Yeah. It's parents. It's the old school mentality that instills the racism in a child. Right. And of course, if it's instilled within you, you will grow up being that, a racist. Right.
That's true. Because I wasn't raised to hate anything outside of black people. My mother didn't raise me like that. I didn't see that. But I received that. And that's how I learned it, And not just, to be honest with you, not just from Caucasian people. I'm going to put it out there, say Dominicans. They just as dark as us.
Right.
But, I had interaction with Dominicans who were just the same complexion as us, who come over here and I, say, hello, how you doing? They're like, I'm like, the fuck is that all about?
Right.
That's racism.
Hey, that's racism. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no question. There's not only, and it's not only that, it's other cultures as well. You know what I'm saying? They look just as black as you and I.
Right.
And they have what do you mean? What do you mean? What's this? What's this all about?
Yeah.
But again, it's racism that has been taught by previous generations down to the younger generations, and they grow up with this mentality or perception of how we are as people, and they are far from the truth. Look, there's bad in every race. There's no perfect race out here. There's no perfect person out here. There's no perfect Chinese people, Asian people, whoever, Indian people, black people, white people. Nobody's perfect in this world that we're living in right now. No one. You have bad groups of people in every bit of culture.
Right.
No doubt. So, man, it's a certain mentality. It's a disease that has to be dealt with, has to be addressed. And I'm not saying that you're going to be able to change minds, but hopefully the younger generation, because the younger generation these days, they're more multicultural and balanced minded than some of the parents are. Some of them are challenging their parents like, Dad or Mom, how can you say that? Rick he's a cool person. Just because he's black, you want to have a perception of him. But that's that old school mentality, man. Yeah. That is that is deeply put into the DNA of young minds, and they try to convert them. But I think I think the younger generation has a different perspective, and they realize, hey, look, a person's a cool person's cool. Right. And I hope that stays that way. But it's going to be a long time before we get to real balance.
All right, Lenny, we about to go off. We're running out of time.
Don Vito,
my brother.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate this moment. Thank you for being patient.
Yes.
Continued success to you. I'm here for you anytime you need me, man.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Stay safe out there.
Love you, brother.
Love you too,
Stay
man.
Safe.
And thank y'all
I'm
all for tuning in. My brother Lenny Green, 107.5 WBLS.
one.
Mr. Quiet Storm himself. Enjoy your holiday, brother.
I'm there.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.